It's the year 2008 and I'm in Grantham in the UK. I'm at my cousin's gaff when my uncle says to me, "Want to see something?" My uncle takes me upstairs, sits me down on the bed. He looks at me and he says, "If at any point you get scared, just say." He then hands me an Xbox 360 controller and I experience for the first time this. It wasn't until December of 2009 that I would get my own Xbox 360, forever chasing the lightning in a bottle experience that was Call of Duty Zombies. I even got hold of Call of Duty World at War Final Fronts before I had a 360 because I thought, hey, it's got the same name, surely it's the same game, right?
All the way to Tojo's doorstep.
It doesn't have zombies anymore. Call of Duty Zombies was huge, and for good reason. I myself have been a massive fan since World at War, even going as far as to decorate my house with various knickknacks and pissing off my old landlords by painting a fridge to look like the Juggernog. Actually, you told me it was a gifted fridge. That means I can do whatever I want. What do you mean move out? As much as it was huge back in the day, it's also no secret that today, it's really not very good. So what the hell's gone wrong and how can we rescue it? Well, to answer that question, I dove headfirst into some serious research. I'm doing research. And now with my big brain of Call of Duty Zombies knowledge, I am going to comprehensively restore in a YouTube video, Call of Duty Zombies to its former glory.
Oh fuck, where are you gonna start with that one? I said, where are you gonna start with?
In the wake of Modern Warfare, Treyarch knew that they had their work cut out for them when it came to releasing the next Call of Duty title. Their previous outing, Call of Duty 3, was not terrible, but it was not received super well. Sort of like a cold pizza.
I mean, it's alright.
Call of Duty was now massive, and Treyarch knew that they had to go big or go home with their next release. So they decided to do a World War II shooter that was focused on the visceral aspects of war, telling the story of the Eastern and the Western fronts through two separate protagonists' eyes, whilst hiding nothing from how horrible World War II is. World at War had to be grounded in realism, and it had to be grounded in realism for the themes that they were telling. All the while, the developers were sitting on a gem which wouldn't fit the mold for the game that they were making. And it all started with a man on fire.
Goodness, that looks like a man that looks like a zombie. Jason Blundell, man from Treyarch.
What did I tell you about talking to me?
Despite the crunch that the development team was already facing, this completely separate survival mode became sort of a creative outlet for the team to really pour love into. Something to distract themselves from the workplace horrors at Activision. Whoops, what's that? A cease and desist? And the police? Oh no! In the words of Jason Blundell, or as he's better known, Zombie Daddy, sound would be like, I can give you a zombie moan. And the character development were like, well, I can give you a zombie head or two. We need to show this to Activision. The trouble was, at this time of history, Activision had a reputation to uphold, especially on the back of Modern Warfare. So they presented it to Activision, but instead of getting emails back saying, what is this? Why have you done this? Why have you wasted resources on this? I can't believe you've done this. Lay off. We'll start from fresh. Fire Gary. I hate Gary. Fuck you, Gary. It's specifically you. Instead, they got emails back saying, I've survived until round 24. Well, what's the record? Oh my god, I love this. Please, don't fire Gary. I love you, Gary. Activision loved this extra mode, but they didn't want it to distract from the main game. So, Treyarch made a compromise. By the time it was due for release, the Zombies mode, then dubbed Nazi Zombies, was a secret. Shh, there's some shit in there, but don't tell anyone. Don't tell us all. Don't tell Gary. Fuck Gary, I don't like him. I don't trust him. He slept with my wife. It was an Easter egg that could only really be found out once the player had finished the campaign. The credits would roll, and then, and only then, would they be presented with this cutscene. There was one basic objective: survive. Forever. Rebuild windows, load up on guns, open up rooms, but do not move the couch that's out on the stairs, because if you do that, then the zombies can funnel up the stairs, and if you're gonna do the strat where you hide in the corner where the grenade bag is, then all you're gonna do is cause more problems and you're not gonna be able to funnel the zombies properly, Edward. Stop doing what you're doing, Edward. In no time at all, the game community shat itself. All of this positive feedback and support is what gave the developers the green light to make 3 DLC packs, all of which would have a zombies map. Survive, but this time you can survive with electricity traps and wonder weapons and dogs, voice acted characters with backstories, perk machines. If the gameplay loop is just survive forever, why did it work? There's one ingredient in this zombies cake that kind of brings everything all together and stops the gameplay from stagnating and going stale, and it stops Gordon Ramsay from yelling about donkeys.
Donkey! 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 Donkey's dick.
Each map having not only new gameplay elements but also unique gameplay elements to that area. That's what kind of made it special. Baruch introducing the electricity trap, and also that one terrifying sprinting Shinonuma had zip wires. Wow. Derise had teleporters. And the pack-a-punch machine. Shangri-La had water slides. Whee! Moon had the moon. Alright, so I made a zombie game. It's an endless shooter. It takes place in the Pentagon, and JFK is there, Fidel Castro's there, Robert McNamara's there, and I don't know, maybe Richard Nixon's there too. Because guess what? They fucking did that, and it was brilliant.
Sounds like someone's posting crayons.
Mr. Storm, Dick. Sit down.
Every map had different strats, different ways to train, different survival routes, which all would take the basic gameplay loop of, hey, don't die, and make it something special every single time. This cake is delicious. Gordon's so fucking proud of you. What about George Romero with a temper tantrum, and he's getting shot at by, oh, I don't know, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Freddy Krueger, Yondu, and the Turtle Bomb from Breaking Bad. All of these diverse characters and diverse maps with so much love and attention, and that's not even all that makes this so special, because the fucking music. Listen to this. Congratulations, because I just triggered a Vietnam flashback in your brain, and you know what? It was fucking brilliant. Emma Seligman, Kevin Sherwood, Eminem, Avenged Sevenfold, Jack Wall, Maluka, Motorhead, Clark Nova, and the, oh my god, the perk jingles.
Lips against the only one that truly moves you.
All of these fresh ingredients come together to make such a fantastic and timeless game. But is it really timeless? Does it actually stand the test of time if you go back and play it now?
Yes.
Even old gen?
Yes.
Other old gen?
Yes.
Cold War?
Yes. Fuck.
What about Modern Warfare 3? Because the solo objective of, hey, don't die, was intact, the entire game became about, hey, improvise, survive, and use the #1 tactic known to man, friendship.
Oh, brother.
So with all of these fantastic things in mind, how did we go from greatness to vomit on the living room floor?
Are you enjoying this internet content?
Well, I mean, I'm making it, so.
Then you should consider supporting this ugly northerner using Patreon.
Did you just call me?
For as little as £1 Benjamin a month, you can support this insane person with poor social skills in his endeavour to create consistent and ambitious content for the internet.
I don't have poor social skills. People just sort of freak me out.
Executive producer credits on all future videos, bonus Patreon only content including videos, behind the scenes and exclusive involvement in future videos, and more, probably. So what are you waiting for? Give this fugly dork a buck, and maybe he won't cry in the shower tonight.
Okay, that's enough. You need to be nicer to yourself. This got a bit weird, didn't it?
Excuse me. It's kind of in the middle of something here. Can I get on with the video, please?
Yeah, mate, sorry. Yeah, mate, just crack on. This all got a bit weird.
After the largely successful Black Ops Cold War Zombies, which I personally really enjoyed, despite the glitches and soft locks and crashes, like holy shit. I get it, making games is hard, but don't launch a survival game that will just randomly crash. Like, holy. Modern Warfare 3 came around, and even though it was initially intended to just be DLC to Modern Warfare 2, which is a whole other kettle of fish, Activision pulled a fast one, not only on Sledgehammer, but on Infinity Ward and Treyarch, by saying,
"This is brilliant, but I like this. If this had ears, it'd go like that."
it's obvious, apart from anything, that Treyarch had no time to make a compact and timeless zombies game, and instead they called together and fought it out. DMZ with zombies. And the worst part about the entire thing was this. Why are you here? The inclusion of a timer took the classic formula, took it around back, told it about the rabbits, and shot it. The weirdest thing is there is a super easy fix for this, which is to just take this weird circle system that they've got and just have it grow and expand over time until the world is too hard to survive in, like Outbreak in Cold War. Now, this isn't a very good idea, it's just a better idea. It's like the difference between shitting your pants and shotting yourself. One is immeasurably better than the other. You've still got shit in your clothes though. But no, instead it's, ooh, survive for 40 minutes and then fuck off because we want to make more room for more people on this live server. Let's just stop looking at this dumpster fire just for a little bit and look at some other things that just didn't work. Advanced Warfare and Call of Duty World War II both took the basic ingredients and tried to throw in some of their own to varying levels of success.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit!
Chef Advanced Warfare decided to sprinkle in some exosuits, which was actually not the worst idea. It offered new traversal routes and gameplay options, and you know what, actually? It's not the worst thing. It was a gameplay decision that introduced new traversal and freedom of movement. And you know what? That is fine, because if there's one thing that I have noticed going back to play the older Call of Duties, holy shit balls. The traversal sucks. Like, running around and getting stuck on a singular pixel just to get two-tapped by a zombie makes no sense. It makes less sense than, I don't know, giving a platform and special treatment to someone who genuinely doxes critics. Don't worry, I'm in a different country, she can't get me. But even with their flourishes, why is Advanced Warfare and World War II not favourably remembered over Treyarch's zombies? Well, I think it really boils down to one thing. Memorability. They were forgetful, and opinions, depending on who you talk to, aren't always that positive. Advanced Warfare's negatives were that Pack-a-Punch took 20 upgrades for your gun. EMP zombies made the game unplayable and a pain in the ballsack. A lot of people thought that Advanced Warfare was really sweaty. Ugh, brother, ugh. What's that? Despite having big names attached to the characters, they weren't super memorable, apart from John Malkovich, because John Malkovich is John Malkovich. And we love John.
You represent the idiocy of today.
Maps were boring or repetitive or had no character, which is a massive thing that you need to be memorable. Holy shit. It's a miracle, by the way, that I have done these Easter eggs with my cousin with a walkthrough. For some of them, it's a miracle that people even figured out what you're meant to do in the first place. Like, I understand that, and the idea behind an Easter egg is that it's supposed to be difficult to a certain extent. And I don't need my handheld like the Call of Duty campaign seem to insist everybody does. But Moon's Easter egg, for example, I'm going to speedrun everything that you need to do to complete Moon's Easter eggs. Both achievements. Ready, go. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is go back and do the Shangri-La Easter egg and also the Call of Dead Easter egg before that to even progress slightly further. Go back and do those now. Done it, good. Okay, next you need to keep rolling the box until you get the QED, the wave gun, and also the Ghost device. You then need to wait for the excavator pine to run through tunnel 6. Get to the power tin, the power on, run back to the terminals that are on the exterior of the moon that look like a Simon Says game and do that. Run back to the labs and provided there is still oxygen, grab one of the hacking tools which will spawn in one of 6 random locations and then hack 6 different terminals in sequence and do it quickly because they're on a timer. Use the hacking tool to shift the excavator and go back to that tunnel and there will be a floating rock. You need to knife that rock until you float it across to a pyramid where it'll stop. Remember though, you need the wave gun for this spot because the rock will go outside and it'll float up. You need the wave gun to get it back down. Go back to the pyramid, grab this tube. You can only grab it once it's full of zombie souls. So kill loads of zombies around it and then hit a switch on the wall when that's done. Congratulations, that's part 1. Okay, now we've got part 2 coming. Next up is Rick Toffin will have the Vril generator in their inventory, which is what you got when you did the Call of the Dead Easter egg. Well done. Teleport back to where, throw grenades at this shelf until plate shards fall down. Use the Ghost device to get hold of them. Then quickly move that back to the teleport back and it'll spawn plates next to the quick revive machine. Now use the QED to move those plate shards to the computer that's in the revive room. Go to the lab, connect the Vril device to the computer that's in spawn room. Put the Vril with the plates, then go back to the pyramid. Watch the Vril device go in the pyramid. Then watch the 4 tubes come out of the corner. You gotta fill those 4 tubes and go with the wall corner and hit the wall switch. Once they fill, hit the switch on the wall, have Rick Toffin grab the Vril device, it'll make a separate floating stone here. Float that stone back to the Simon Says outside. Watch the earth explode with the rockets that fly away. Congratulations, you just completed the Moon Easter egg. One word. Complicated. Overly complicated. 2 words. Overly complicated. 3 if you really wanted to. Really overly complicated. Overly complicated goes for more than just the Easter eggs though. This could go for the maps themselves sometimes. Transit relying on the bus and the power system and the lava and the little freaky golems that are in the forest. I didn't really play Black Ops 4, but people said Voyage of the Damned was a fucking maze. And also Zetsubo no Shiba. More like Zetsubo no time to fucking prepare. It's exciting to further an Easter egg, but when things become as tedious as, you can't further the Easter egg because you didn't notice that you had to suck this little box off the top of Nacht to get a little flask. It stops being fun and it starts being tedious. If you absolutely need a walkthrough to achieve the Easter eggs, instead of the game being intelligent enough to just nudge you in the right direction, you may as well have a big fucking prism telling you where you should go, because that's basically what you're doing. Just instead of looking at the screen, you're looking at your phone. Overly complicated could go for a lot of COD zombies, including the lore, which, like, holy shit. Have you seen this? I don't even know how to read this. Rick Toffin went from a crazy German scientist who killed his partner and his partner's daughter and his partner's daughter's dog to a man trying to save the cosmos from tentacle men. Look, if that's your bag, that's fine. It's just my opinion. One more time.
That's my opinion!
Thank you. Vine. COD Zombies doesn't need to be overly complicated, and I think it's unfortunately a product of continuing the story of 935. Advanced Warfare Zombies has its fans for a good reason. It was a complete departure from Treyarch's bucket of cables. COD World War II, whilst flawed, also has its fans because it did something a little different. I mean, that one got a little bit, you know, silly.
I'm joking! Stop!
Alright, so, order problems. Bland maps, that's a big one. Boring characters, there's a second one. Over complication. What's next?
Juggernaut, quick reverse, speed caller, double tap, stamina up, tap, Pluto. PhD, flop bomb, you kick and dead shot, also Windows Wine Volterate 2, Tombstone, Do Wonder Fizz, PhD Slider, Electric Cherries on Shell, Elemental and Dying, Wish Blood from Secret Souls, Victorious Tortoise and All, Death Perception Ethereal, also Electric Westwood as well, Stone Cold as well, Deadshot Dealer, Bandalia Bandit, Ethereal Zippy as well. Oh, fuck, there's more? Okay, demonic and diabolic, and also plays face. Fuck this.
Much like a hospital, in my opinion, there are too many crutches. Pick yourself up, man. World of War has its problems too, getting stuck on pixels, 2 hit downs, and that slaps your nuts so fucking hard at higher rounds. Like, oh. But in later CODs, it feels like they've overcompensated for the lack of options by having buildable armor, self-revives, helicopters, sentry turrets, monkey bombs you can build. It's important to make the game get gradually more difficult, but equally, the player needs to have the necessary means to combat that at an equal. Wonder weapons are a brilliant way to manage that because they match the damage output that the zombies have. That's their whole point of existing. But this, a little bit too much. Should the feeling of playing zombies be, I am a god? Or should it be, whew, that was intense. I'm glad I managed to get by with the skin in my teeth thanks to my wit and skill. Or is it possible to balance the two? Yes is the answer, reasonably easily. That's what the power-ups are for. Double point and insta-kill. Bring back the fucking death machine. Okay, chuck it on the board. Too many crutches, impossible later game fights. Lastly, we have a massive problem. You'll have noticed by now, I've forgotten to mention something.
Hey, what's in this hole in the floor? Oh no.
Vanguard had the potential to revisit Call of Duty World War II heritage glory days. And instead, it didn't. We saw an end to the Dark Ether storyline, and instead of leaving that behind, they just fell back into it. Please let me in. I want to come back. Vanguard gave us an underwhelming series of maps, the worst characters and cartoonish villain I've ever seen.
It is time to beat your toy soldiers of Wiedersehen.
Fuck off. Some of the worst Easter eggs that I think the series has ever seen, with the absolute worst part being, not only that I did it, but the finale. In previous years, we've had sequel teasers, like Advanced Warfare Zombies ended. We've had the evil Nazi explaining what the fuck is going on in World War II. We got the end of the Dark Ether timeline. To varying degrees, these were all gratifying endings, but what we got with Vanguard. Okay, let's go in here. Let's go in this bit. We've done all this gubbins, and okay, we're fighting the big man. There he goes. He's fell into the hole. You paid money for this. Looking at the weakest parts of Call of Duty Zombies history, those 5 things constantly pop up. So, recognizing the things that don't work and what not to do, how do we make Call of Duty Zombies great again? So here we go, building a new Zombies experience from the ground up, using all the things that we've already talked about in this video. Okay, so let's start with the map. I'm gonna make it so that it sits on 2 levels, the surface and then everything else underneath. The top side is going to be an entire French village that the players can freely traverse and run around in, and the bottom part is going to be like an entire German research facility. The players are going to spawn in 4 separate corners on the map. But Liam, what even the fuck is the setting? Probably should have started with that. We're gonna go back to World War II, to the heyday of Call of Duty World at War Zombies, but something completely different. 2 soldiers parachute into a French village under the cover of night in June 1944. In this village there are 4 soldiers, 4 playable characters. A French resistance fighter whose job it is to liaise with the British SOE soldier, who's going to be represented by Sean Connery, and American GI, represented by Tom Hanks. Their job is to meet at a HQ in the center of this village, occupied by the German army, where a German defector is waiting to meet them. This is a defecting German scientist who's trying to help the Allies win the war, because Nazis are bad. Documents have been sent to the British SOE detailing that the German army is trying to resurrect the dead. Oh no, and they've had some success with doing it. and they're here, they're in this village. That, you know, the usual 1,000-year wait kind of stuff. So with all 4 players in different corners of the map, they all need to converge and meet in the middle where this church is going to be. They have options. They can use the streets and sneak past the German AI soldiers and just go all stealthy, then meet in the middle, open up the HQ and get inside. Or they can forego stealth, but this means that more German AI will spawn in and attack the players who are gathering heat. The players who are discovered by the German soldiers will have the other soldiers converge on their location, meaning if you really wanted to, some players could take the heat off by fighting the German soldiers, whilst the other players sneak towards the church.
Army of two shit.
The issue with remaining outside too long is that players will run the risk of an environmental event happening where allied bombers will run overhead and drop bombs on the village, and if you're caught outside during this event, once the players are inside the HQ, the doors will shut behind them, the power goes out, and the game officially begins with round 1. Think of the opening as being kind of like Moon, in a way. Okay, we're going to come back to talking about this whole thing, but now we're going to talk about something just a little bit more important. What do I fight? Where do I go? What do I do? Help. Moving through the facility, players can find vitality shots, which are going to operate as the new perk system, but I'm going to tweak how they work slightly. So, this time players are going to need to replenish the vitality shots every 10 or so rounds, which will stop players from stockpiling points, but it'll also mean that players have to manage their perks, and if they want to rotate perks, they can do so. As the rounds tick by, players are introduced to new infected types, or maybe as they are discovering new parts of the facility. These new infected types are special infected, all with their own weaknesses, but also abilities to hinder the player's survival. We can have an infected that impairs movement, slowing you down and stopping you from moving quick, which is, in a zombies game, you may as well be getting stuck on the fucking pixels of Nectar and Tone, because the second you stop, you're gonna get your shit beaten. We can have an infected that deafens you, which completely robs you of all sound, and as anybody could tell you who's tried playing zombies with no sound, you're gonna get your shit beaten. We can have a special infected that blinds you, or drops a smoke screen around you, which super limits your vision, which means that you can't see anything, and famously, as Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, I can't see, therefore I'm fucked. And maybe we can bring back the heavy types from COD World War II, because to be fair, they were balanced quite well. If you got too close to them, you're gonna get your shit beaten. Let's borrow World War II's melee system, where you could beat the shit out of a zombie with a trowel and rob it for extra points and salvages. Let's also use the best part of Cold War's salvaging system, but this time players can construct meaningful makeshift equipment, like smoke bombs and explosive traps, throwing knives from glass shards, akin to the best mission from Modern Warfare 2. Let's put a secret song in there. I don't know what, but it'll be there. Scrap will be dropped by zombies and heavy zombies, but sparingly, so that players can upgrade their weapons as the world gets harder, without the players becoming, well, that. To give players a reason to explore above ground, they can find parts of the Pack-a-Punch machine, which they will need to construct. They can find parts of wonder weapons, which they will need to construct. All which should be made reasonably clear via the quest line and via the Allies radio. A radio which, by the way, players should have to seek out after setting up the power, instead of it just being magically in their ear, because, oh my god, it's like if you want guidance, you can find it. But if you don't want it, you haven't got in your ear the whole fucking time. Just stop. Thanks to the freedom of traversal from like the more modern Call of Duties, you've got plenty of options when it comes to training and fluently moving around the map, either upstairs or down. However, for better weapons, upgrades and perks, they should be located in more narrow corridors, which is adding a little bit element of risk and reward. Much like the terminal in Cold War, players can use a radio to get better gear and upgrades, all of which can be flown in overhead by a plane. Let's throw some verticality in there by having some caged elevators that can run between the German HQ and the facility underneath. But there's a hole in the roof of the cage, which means that even whilst you're descending, you still need to fight zombies and stop them from climbing in, from above. Let's have some traps in the facility, like a flamethrower corridor, which is a corridor which has a bunch of flamethrowers on the side, and players can go prone to get underneath it, but you gotta be careful because the hounds and crawlers can also get underneath the flames. Doorways with pikes and spikes and stuff that'll kill anything directly underneath it, but also cut off a traversal route, which can be beneficial for the player if they need to reload or revive a player, but can also trap them from the other side in case zombies are coming the other way. Let's have some fun with it. Let's have a room with a bunch of water on the floor, and you can electrify the floor, provided that you're not standing on the floor. Why not? All of these traps can be used to exploit weaknesses that the special infected have. Easter eggs. Let's not overcomplicate it. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to destroy the Germans' facility below ground to stop the Germans from launching their new army before the Allies land on Normandy. Within this facility below ground, players discover that this entire facility is used to house thousands of dead soldiers, but also V2 rockets.
Well, how about that?
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Coincidence. And thus the player is given two options: complete the main quest line, or just keep it simple. Don't die. Part of the quest line could be that above ground the players find a German tank in a barn somewhere, and they have to fix up the tank as part of their exfil to destroy the facility. They have to do a bunch of stuff inside, but they also have to rig a V2 to fire straight up, and then its coordinates to attack are directly back onto the facility, and the players take the tank and they drive it out of the nightmare, and that could be the quest line. All of these elements coming together without overcomplicating things could make for a very, very special zombies experience, a jumping off point for the future of the series. Or you could just go and play Ritual of Scare, which also came out, and I didn't even know about it until halfway through making this video, and that basically is being shrouded in praise as just the zombies killer. So you just go play that if you really, really wanted something new. I didn't even have to make this video. And there we have it. Fixing Call of Duty Zombies, sort of. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. This part of the video is not scripted, by the way. It has taken me weeks to get this video done. I have changed clothes and hair 3 times in this video, if that was any kind of indicator for how long it's taken me to do this. Thank you so very much for watching, and thank you for liking and subscribing. This has been Fixing Call of Duty Zombies. I've been Stag. You have been wonderful, as always. Remember to tell your dad about the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ra.